Today we're going to be installing Custom Dynamics Saddlebag LED latch light with housing. So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Brian. On the BRYTHEBIKER channel, we create motorcycle content in relation to motorcycle product reviews, installs, as well as some riding and travel videos. And we do a Wednesday live stream where we talk to companies and other creators in the motorcycle space. So full disclosure, as always, with my channel, Custom Dynamics did provide me these lights free of charge to do the install. However, they have not given me a script. They have not reviewed this video before it was released, and they have not had any input. So these opinions are going to be my own. I just like to be transparent with you guys so you know clearly what's going on. So the one thing that got me interested in doing this install for you guys is that I wanted to put some sort of lights on the side of the bike. The front of the bike and the rear of the bike are covered in Custom Dynamics lights, and you can certainly be seen. And if you haven't seen any of those install videos, I'll pop them up right here. So please go check them out. But I wanted to put something on the side of the bike that would provide some illumination to go along with the Pro Glow lights that I have at night that I usually run them in the white spectrum so you can see the bike, it stands out. But I thought these would be really great because they are turn signals and they're multicolor, so it's going to get your attention more. So what you're going to get in the packaging here is these side bag lights with the housing. The cord's obviously to connect it, and you're going to have a unit that it hooks up to that's going to attach to the wiring, OEM wiring in your bike. And you're going to have a second latch, and we've got some, we got some ties, some clips here, just basic stuff. So as we start this install, the other thing we're going to want to do is put down some sort of soft material. So in this case, we're just going to put a soft towel down so I can lay the bag on the table here and not scratch it. Obviously, these bags are rather expensive, and we don't want to scratch our beautiful new bags. So we are just going to set it on its side here, open this up. And you can see here, we're going to need to take these out, these hex out, and then we can take this retention strap off and we can start to work on the bike. So let's do that. So I went ahead and grabbed my cordless impact gun. These are two T15 screws that we want to take out. So we're just going to back them out real slow. Taking our time again, you want to make sure that the entire bag is on a soft surface. We're just going to back them out real nice and easy. Now moving to the back one, we're just going to back this out real slow. So now what we have here are these three T20 screws. We're just going to back them out. Again, we want to hold on to the bag, make sure it's not on anything that's going to scratch. We're just going to work those out. Put them somewhere safe where we can find them. And with this last one, we want to hold on because it is going to separate the bag. We want to make sure we don't scratch anything. And that's going to come off. All right, so now we're going to put the cover over this here, so to dry fit it. I'm going to open up the bag, and I'm going to do this from the side, so it's going to be a little bit hard to see as I do it, but I'm just going to drop these screws in here. So what I did is I went ahead and opened up the bag. We now have the new latch cover on. I'm just going to pop in the center screw real quick just to get this to tighten down. Again, you just want to take your time. And we're going to drop this other screw in as well. And then we're going to drop the final screw on. And we are making progress. And now you can see that quickly we've replaced the side cover. And that's the OEM side cover, so I actually like the way this looks more. We're going to keep this protective coating on here until we're finished. I always think it's a good idea to be a little safe than sorry. Let's move on to our next step. So the next step Custom Dynamics has you doing is putting this foam piece right in here. So what you're going to do is just clean it off with the alcohol swipe real quick. Dry that. And actually dry fitted it. I twisted it a little bit, but it didn't pinch the wire at all. And I actually took the back off already just to make the install a little faster for you guys. So we're just going to push this down here and press it. And you can see now that when the cable comes over, the cable has this is actually higher than the lip, so it gives it a place to compress and fit the wire in without pinching this wire. So that's going to be really easy and a great way to protect your wiring. I would recommend dry fitting this. In other words, putting this on, closing the bag, latching it, give it a few minutes, and make sure that it isn't pinching this. Last thing you want to do is cause a short when you're out on the road. So now that we have this step done, let's go to the next one. So this is initially going to be a little tricky to show you, but I'll show you once it's complete. What they want you to do is take these little tie-down stickers, and you're going to run cable management with this cable to the front where this latch is. That's how we're going to get this cable out of the bag and to the bike itself. So we're just going to take one of these, take the backing off this, and this may vary a little bit from bike to bike, but it really shouldn't be too much variance. So we're just going to take this first piece, we're going to stick it here under the latch, or I'm sorry, under the lip, and we're going to run our cable through, and then we're just going to push our zip tie through it. Now the one thing I would recommend with all of this is don't go crazy zip tying this down too hard. Make it a little loose, that way in case if you made a mistake, you have an opportunity to get the cable out. Sort of think of it as the measure twice, cut once approach. So we're going to be putting the next tie down spot here. They do include 4, so my thought is we're going to do one here, one here, one here, and then one coming over here. Now I have bag liners, which is going to make this a lot easier for cable management, and you don't have to worry about the cables being hit. So it is something you might want to consider. Bag liners are certainly going to protect your cabling, and I'm always a fan of that. I'm going to go ahead and put my next attachment point here, because we're going to be running it out here. We're going to have to draw a hole here. So I want to make sure that I'm starting to get the cable down a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and put the very last one right here. And again, we're just going to loosely zip tie these in place. So again, all we're going to do is loosely zip tie these in place just to have a place for our wires to be channeled through. Again, I'd rather have to go back and fix this than I would a major mistake, so it's a lot easier. So as we start we can check this, make sure we have it where we want it. And I'm just going to cinch it down just a bit more. I'm not going to go crazy, but I just want to start working the cables tighter, and rather getting the cable management a little tighter. So we have an idea of what we're working with here as far as cable length. So we're just going to tighten this down a little bit, and that's going to give us a good space there. Then we're going to run a zip tie through this piece of cable management. Zip tie this down. I'm going to leave, you're going to notice I'm not going to bother cutting these off during the video, but obviously you're going to want to trim these off once you're 100% done your install. I'm also, when I do this install, only going to do the right side bag. Left side's going to install just the same. There's no need to make this video any longer than it needs to be. It's going to be the same for both sides. So now what we're going to do is we're going to finish up that turn, and we're going to spin this zip tie. So now what we're going to do is put this last zip tie in place at the turn, at the completion point where it's going to exit the bike. We're going to drop the cable through. Now we've got some nice clean cable management. So the next thing we're going to do here is take our China pencil, our China marker, and we're going to mark a spot an inch below where these connectors are. So what this is going to do is this is going to be the spot where this cable is going to be routed through. And we're going to have to drill a pretty substantial hole. So we're going to be drilling a 9/16 hole. So we're going to have to make multiple passes at this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my hole to start a pilot hole. We're going to start it right about here, just about 1 inch down. So we have that marker. And once we have our marked spot, we're going to go ahead and secure the bag so we don't damage it. Again, this is going to be even more crucial than before. Want to make sure that we're on a very soft surface so we don't damage our bags, as we're going to be applying pressure to drill through this bag. All right, so now it's going to be the most challenging part of this install. And what we're going to do is I'm going to start out with a very small 1/18 drill. And I'm just going to slowly drill it through the hole here. So we have a pilot hole. And again, like I said, you want to make sure here, this is a big step. This is a very expensive bag, so you want to take your time with this part. So I went ahead and marked it. That's 1 inch below these attachment points here for the bag latch. We're going to take a drill bit. I would recommend getting a new drill bit. You want to have it clean and as sharp as possible. We're going to just start it on our hole here, take our time, and work a hole through. All right, so that's going to be our first pilot hole. Now we're going to switch this out, and we're going to go to a 1564, I think this is. Again, you don't have to do this exactly in the sizes that I'm doing it, but they suggest that you step up. And the reason for that is this pilot hole is going to increasingly grow bigger. So you're putting a 9/16 hole in this bag. So you're putting a hole that size in your bag. So you obviously want to take your time and step up through that. So now we're going to use this drill bit, doing the same thing, making sure, again, just reminding you, you don't want to apply a lot of pressure. Let the tool do the work, and make sure you're on a clean, flat, soft surface. I know there's plenty of people that are watching this that are going, dear God, I cannot believe you're drilling through your Harley bag. It looks really intimidating. I can tell you, if you've seen any of my videos, I'm not the most technically savvy person with a tool, and I don't find this intimidating at all. Once you get the right tools and you figure out what you need, you are going to need a 1/2 inch drill, and you are going to need a 9/16, and it's probably going to more than likely have to step down to your 1/2 inch, because most people only have 1/2 inch tools at home. If you're a bigger shop and you don't, have a full 1 inch drill or what have you, that's great. But in my case, I didn't. So now we're going to make sure we're going the right direction. And now this is going to be our third and final hole. Just taking our time. And we're through. All right, so now that we're through the bag, you can see the hole's completely through. We're going to take this grommet that's attached to the end of this connector here. We're going to pull the grommet back a little bit. So we know we're going to pull this grommet actually back as far as we can, because that's going to be the exit point. We're going to take our connector and we're going to very gently slide this through. Came through no problem. Don't want to tug here on the connector. You want to make sure that if you're pulling on this black piece. We're going to pull the black piece up. And then it's going to slowly bring the grommet up. So now what I did is I took my time and worked the grommet through. Probably be a good thing if you had something flat, a flathead screwdriver or something. I used the end of a hex tool, but I just kind of worked it through, and you can see that it's now flush all the way around, and we have a secure, clean connector for our cable to come out. So now all I'm going to do is then just cinch up my wiring, and we're going to install it on the bike. All right, guys, so we're out at the bike. I have the leads coming from each saddlebag light, latch light, coming from either side. So these are here. I'm going to put these up here. I'm going to apologize. There's a lot of custom dynamics lights on here, and because I have magic strobes, it's going to make this looking a little bit more complicated than it is, but it is going to be pretty straightforward. So the first thing we're going to do, because I have the magic strobe, is there's going to be a yellow cable here. This yellow cable, we're going to cut, and we're going to use this jumper to make the magic strobe work. So all we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to cut this yellow cable. And then what they want you to do in the instructions is they want you to trace, I'll tape that later or cap it. They want you to trace it to your magic strobe, to the output of your magic strobe. And like I said, this is a little bit more complicated than a normal install. So my magic strobe's here. It's going to route back to here. And then this is the output to the fender. So this red wire here, all we're going to do is tap it. So we're going to bring this out. We're going to slide this connector on here. Oops. And we're just going to go ahead and tap that wire. That's going to allow the magic strobes to work, and that way the entire back of my bike pulsates as one unit. So now the next step that we're going to do is we're then going to take the splitter and we're going to put the splitter in front of the magic strobe. So we're going to put the splitter here. We're going to take the female end here, slide this on, put the male end here, and then we are going to connect these. Now, the best of my knowledge, I haven't seen a right and left, so you're going to have to just try it out. You're going to connect them and see which one's left, see which one's right. For the saddlebag, then we're going to take the other connector and we're going to plug it in. Hope that made sense for you. Like I said, there's a lot of custom dynamic stuff on my bike, but hopefully that made some sense to you. If you've enjoyed this install video and it's been helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, and ring the bell. Subscribing and giving a thumbs up and ringing the bell is huge for my channel to grow, so I'd really appreciate that engagement. So here we go. So the side bag latch lights are in, running. It's going to be red. Turn, it's going to be yellow. And then when we apply the brake, it's going to fire the magic strobe. So all my lights are pulsating in the same exact pattern. So as we wrap up this video, I'm going to run some B-roll at night so you can see what it looks like at night. But I highly suggest any of the Custom Dynamics products. I've really been pleased with the way they've enhanced the safety of my bike. And I really, really consider you to look at that magic strobe. It's been a lifesaver. I've gotten a lot of compliments when we were out touring people, cars. A lot of people are stopping me and saying, hey, where did you get that? That's really great. Like, we saw you a half mile down the road with that strobe, you know, knowing you were stopping. So it's that kind of device that really adds safety to your motorcycle and allows you to enjoy the ride. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're well. And please remember, you're not alone. Guys, thank you so much for watching.